I feel like I'm meeting an old friend for the first time. The topic I would like to talk about is doubt, because it's a big issue with me when it comes to allowing. I can think of about 5 times in my life where I understand when you say tapped in, turned on.
Tuned in, tapped in, turned
Yep.
on. Yep.
And the energy that came from within was so deep, I didn't even have a name for it at the time. And the realization was, I am going to accomplish this. I have no doubt. No obstacle can get in my way. I don't care how long the process is. And I want to be able to do this on a regular basis, but I'm always retelling my story. I say, okay, I'm going to manifest. Oh, but wait a minute, now I got to go back and retell the story.
Well, this is the reason, you're not alone in this, and this is the reason that we are taking a little different tact in the way we are encouraging you to approach this. Because many of you have been working at this for a while. You understand about law of attraction. You're pretty good at recognizing your emotions. You recognize that doubt is just the feeling that you get when you've got a vibrational frequency going on that's disallowing what you really want. In other words, you understand all of this, but how do you now apply it in a way that gets you the real results that you want? And we think that you're very wise in recognizing that the first order of business is to be done with the doubt. So we're going to come back to something that we said earlier. Everyone can relate, or most can relate in some way. So $100,000 in debt, would like to be $100,000 in the black, $200,000 gap. Mm-hmm. So not likely that that's going to change today in terms of what's actually in your bank account. But it is likely that you could go from doubt to positive expectation if you are willing to stay focused on a steady stream of conversation long enough to get the momentum going. And you don't need us. We would help do it. You don't need us to do it. You can find your own way out of your own doubt. But you have to understand that it's the doubt that you're trying to find your way out of, not the accomplishment of whatever it is that you doubt that you can accomplish. Did you hear that? That the work is to work your way out of the feeling of doubt, not into the having of whatever it is that you feel doubtful about. That's so big. Because the process to work your way out of doubt is a gradual process, but it's a for sure process. You can do it. You just have to show yourself that you can do it. And if you can do it once, you can do it twice. And if you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times. And if you can do it for a few days or a few weeks, then you can own that vibration about that subject. And so we start in very basic places. We start about things for which, as far as we are concerned, there can be no doubt. Law of attraction abounds. Accept it or don't, but it abounds. Now, us just saying that doesn't make you know it. Mm-hmm. We can know it with everything that we are and we do, but our knowing it doesn't make you know it, because you might have practiced a strong enough thought contrary to that, that when we are even in the same space, we're not communicating on the same vibrational frequency. So that difference in frequency, let's say a friend knows something and you think you know something different or do know something different. So there's a difference of opinion there. If you are having a difference of an opinion between yourself and someone else, that is not going to bring you an emotion of doubt. It's only when you have a difference of opinion with the source within you about that topic. In other words, doubt is your own contradiction of your own vibration. It doesn't have anything to do with the practical reality of something. It doesn't have anything to do with the certainty of something. The feeling of doubt is just, I've got contradictory energy. I say I want it, and then I say I don't have it. And I say I want it, and then I say I don't have it. And then I say I want it, and then I say I don't have it. That equals contradictory energy, and that's what equals that feeling of doubt. So when you say, I want to talk about the subject of doubt, what we hear you say is, I want to talk about the subject of contradicted energy in me. When we hear you say, I want to talk about the subject of contradicted energy in me, we hear you say, I want to talk about my not very practiced focus. I want to talk about my sloppy thinking. I want to talk about me looking at stuff I don't want and looking at it long enough that I get momentum. I want to talk about me looking at what is instead of thinking about what can be, and letting what is dominate my vibration when what can be is what's dominating my source energy's vibration. My inner being's focused upon what's becoming. I'm focused on what hasn't become yet. That's what doubt is. Isn't this a good conversation?
Excellent. It tells me everything.
Yeah. So all you got to do is find things that feel good when you think about them. This is perhaps the most important conversation that we would ever have with anyone who's wanting to be the deliberate creator of their own reality. You don't have to take the subject of your desire and think about it until it happens. And in fact, when you take the subject of your desire and you think about it till it happens, it usually doesn't happen anytime soon. Because you're thinking about the subject that you want to happen from the perspective of it not happening, and you're introducing resistance into the equation, causing split energy, which makes you feel doubtful. And then you say, I think my doubt is killing this project. And we say, no, your doubt is the indication that you're killing this project with contradictory thought. You got that, didn't you?
I did.
So just cut it out. Stop beating the drum of anything that makes you feel doubt, and beat the drum of what makes you feel encouraged about things. Look for things that you feel already encouraged about.